we are going to look at different ways to show a number. So there's many different ways that we can write numbers. And so let's take a look at what these different ones are. So up here, I'm going to write the definition of what these things are. So standard form, this is a number written in digits. And we can see those written out down here. I think of this as the regular way to write a number. So standard form, it's just the regular way that we usually write a number. Word form is when we write a number in words. So this is a number written in words. So we would write out the number in words, in word form, using spelling. Expanded form is a way that we show the value of each digit in the number being added together. So it's a number shown as the sum of the value of each digit. So remember, sum means to add. The value we talked about in our last set of notes, that's where we say how much is each digit, how much is that 9? This 9 is 9, the 5 is 50, the 2 is 200. So, and then we add all those values together. For expanded notation, this is a number shown as a sum of each digit multiplied by its value. So it's a little bit different. So it's a number shown as a sum of each digit multiplied by its value. Okay, so we'll talk about that. And again, it's going to look very similar to this one. You saw a lot of the same things, but it does look a little bit different. So let's take a look at some examples here, and that I think will help us to understand. So this is the regular way that we write a number, 259. That's our standard form. If I were to write that in word form, I would want to write this out in words. So I would start with 259. And I want you to be careful not saying and. I know some people say 259. We'll learn about that word and later. That's going into decimals, and that number would look very different from this one here. So we do not say and in here. So 259. Okay, for the expanded form, well, this 2 has a value of 200. Plus, because remember, we're doing the sum, the value of this 5 is 50, plus the value of this 9 is 9. And if we were to add 200 plus 50 plus 9, we would get 259. Okay, this next one gets a little bit weird. So we know that this 2, it's in the hundreds place value spot. So that means I'm going to take that 2, I'm going to multiply it by the 100 place value spot that it is in. Then I'm going to add that to that 5 is in the tens place times 10 plus, and that 9 is in the one spot. So we would say 9 times 1. So all we're doing is we're keeping the digit and we're multiplying by its place value spot. And if we looked, 2 times 200 is 200, and 5 times 10 is 50. And 9 times 1 is 9. So we would still get 259. It's just a different way of writing it. So this one is new to you this year. That's a new one. Okay, looking at this one here, we would read this number as 76. We read that whole period together, 76,000. So let's write that. 76,000. And when we write them in word form, we put the comma in our word form in the same spot that we saw it in the standard form. So I'm going to put my comma there. And then the next period is 521. So I'm going to write 521. And again, we don't want to say and 521. And is when we use decimals, so we make sure that we take that out. So 76,000, comma, right where it was, 521. Okay, if I were to write this in expanded form, it's going to be a little bit longer than our last one. This 7 is in our 10,000s place. So this is 70,000 plus that 6 is in the thousands place, so it's 6,000 is its value, plus that 5 is in the hundreds place, 500, plus that 2 has a value of 20, plus, and the 1 is in the ones place, it has a value of 1. So 70,000 plus 6,000 plus 500 plus 20 plus 1. Okay, this next one, we're going to be saying what the place value spot was multiplied by that digit. So this 7 was in the 10,000s place, so we're going to have 7 times 10,000 plus 6 times 1,000, that 6 is in the thousands place, plus 5 times, that 5 is in the hundreds place, 100, plus that 2 is in the tens place, 2 times 10, plus, and that 1 is in the ones place, 1 times 1. I know it seems silly to say 1 times 1, but that's how we write it. So this, if we were to multiply it out, we would have 70,000 plus 6,000 plus 500 plus 20 plus 1, which we can see over here. So it's another way of rewriting our number. Okay, and for our last one, this one goes up into the 100,000s place. And remember, we read a number starting with that period. So I'm going to read this one first. We just say 380. And then that comma reminds us that that was the period for, or that was the end of the period for the thousand. So 1,000, 380,000. So I'm going to write that. 380,000, and I could put my comma right there just like we had it in the number, and then this is 405. 405. Remember, no and. 405. Okay. When we take a look at doing it in expanded form, we want to remember not to put in those zeros. Those zeros just help us remember that this is going to make sure that we keep that place value spot open. There is no value in that spot, so we don't need to include those. So if I look starting at the 3 here, the 3 is in the 3 is in the 100,000 spot, so it's 300,000, 300,000 plus the 8 is in the 10,000s place, so it's 80,000, plus that 4 is in the hundreds place, 400, plus that 5 is in the ones place, 5. And so I only have 4 digits here that are not zeros, so those are the only ones that I would be writing there. So it makes it a little bit faster. Okay, so now we're going to multiply the digit by its place value spot. So that 3 times, it's in the 100,000s, plus that 8 is in the 10,000s, plus that 4 is in the hundreds place, plus, and then that 5 was in the ones place. So 3 times 100,000 plus 8 times 10,000 plus 400, or 4 times 100 plus 5 times 1. And if we look, if we multiply these out, it would end up looking like this one over here. And if we add those together, we'll get that. that value. That's one way of checking your work. So these are different ways that we can show a number, that we can write a number.